We found AEDs are not required at your kid's school or when they visit for an away game. Our investigation discovered an effort to mandate AEDs, and in order to study the issue, we're sidelined. This is not your average practice.
Ready, up.
As well as bumps and blocks.
Ready. Coach, Rylan collapsed.
Coach Linnea Strasser also had her team show us how they drill for an emergency.
Somebody go get the AED.
Like if a player collapses, sudden cardiac arrest is the leading cause of death in student athletes. How long does that take?
We spend about 15 minutes at the beginning of every season.
Good job, girls.
This practice is personal. 2 years ago, Coach Strasser's son Drew needed the AED right outside this gym.
If he hadn't had the AED put on him, he wouldn't have survived.
Drew survived, but in LaPorte, Jake West did not.
There doesn't go a day, a second that he's not in my mind and obviously on my heart.
Jake's mom, Julie, now works to prevent sudden cardiac arrest in communities and schools.
No doubt in my mind and in my heavy heart, lives will be saved. So please vote for this bill.
In 2023, Indiana lawmakers passed Jake's Law to improve school AED access and education.
Everyone stand clear.
Now teachers, coaches, and school staff must have CPR and AED training.
Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
But the law stopped short of requiring schools to have these machines. Instead, lawmakers promised to study the issue and sent schools a voluntary survey. Only half responded.
Do you think that's a survey done in good faith?
No, I do not.
Senator Linda Rogers sponsored the bill. She, too, is disappointed with the report.
Right now, we don't know how many AEDs are in schools.
Right.
And we don't know how many schools actually have a plan to use them if they have them.
That's correct.
13 Investigates sent out our own survey to 125 central Indiana districts. 106 responded and reported having an AED in every school. 96 said one was at every practice game or other event on campus. A handful reported taking units to away games.
I understand no one wants to be overregulated, but when it comes to health and safety, that's number one.
Senator Rogers wants to strengthen Jake's Law, promising to file a bill that would require AEDs at school events and possibly emergency action plans. In 2013, when Jake died, there was an AED, but in the coach's office, not near the field where he collapsed.
Not judging or blaming anyone. They didn't know any better.
But now?
It's not good enough. All that talk is not enough. We need to see the action. We need to make sure that these kids are protected every day when they go to school.
So here's the thing. Every district is different. Some have really taken the initiative and not only have several AEDs, but also do drills to prepare students and staff. If you want to know how many AEDs your school has and if they have a policy or plan, look for this story in the 13 Investigates section of our website. Sierra Putman, 13 Investigates.
This little device can save lives. Our 13 Investigates team found AEDs have saved dozens of children and adults at our local schools. 13 Investigates reporter Sierra Putman is here. And Sierra, you've been looking at why these are not actually required in all our schools.
We found Indiana has sidelined this issue. Experts say you need the device and you need a comprehensive plan. However, we found many schools don't have that plan in place. AED survivors say that's troubling.
I mean, our first one is right up here on the wall.
Whenever Drew Brantley visits a new place, he's always on the lookout.
Right here out in the open, ready to roll if anybody needs it, and it's never locked. You've been on pace Wednesday, Saturday, right?
IU Kokomo's head baseball coach says in February 2010, he was a high school junior who almost didn't make it home.
I remember waking up for school that morning, eating breakfast, and then that's it. I don't remember anything until coming off of life support.
Brantley collapsed in a weight class at Western High School due to an undiagnosed heart condition. Again, he doesn't remember much, but knows an automated external defibrillator, or AED, saved his life. 14 years later, he's surprised. AEDs are not required in Indiana schools.
Do you think they should be required in
K-12 schools?
I do.
How often do AEDs save lives in Indiana schools? The state doesn't know. So 13 Investigates surveyed 125 school districts. 12 reported using an AED at least once on a student. Northeastern Wayne schools reports using them multiple times for students. Even more districts, 27, say an AED was used on an adult.
Hey, crossovers at the line, crossovers, go.
Franklin Community assistant basketball coach Howard Ely collapsed back in 2015. Then he was coaching for Perry Meridian at an away game.
I was yelling at the girls because we were still close enough that we could win the game. And I'm yelling at them. I sat back down on the bench, and next thing I know, I'll wake up in the hospital. And I guess the first words out of my mouth in the room were, "Did we win?"
After his surgery.
Ely and Brantley both had an AED applied within a few minutes.
Then survival is improved drastically.
Dr. Adam Keene is a pediatric cardiologist at Riley Hospital for Children. He says if an AED is applied within 1 to 3 minutes, survival rates improve.
We're talking about 5 to 10% survival going to 50 to 70% survival.
He oversees Project Adam, an organization that helps schools prepare to respond to a case of sudden cardiac arrest. It's the leading cause of death for student athletes, kids like 17-year-old Jake West. His school had an AED, but it wasn't close to the field where he collapsed.
To think that it could have been prevented is really hard on me.
Now, Julie West is fighting to make AEDs mandatory and for schools to follow best practices.
Having an AED in school is not enough. You have to have the plan.
Project Adam's recommendations include making sure an AED can be retrieved in 3 minutes or less, creating a cardiac or emergency response plan, plus proper training and emergency drills.
Everyone stand clear.
Indiana does require teachers and coaches to receive CPR and AED training.
Shock delivered. Begin CPR.
But that's it. 13 Investigates found while most of the 125 central Indiana districts surveyed have AEDs, only 25 districts have a policy or plan that require a 3-minute retrieval goal, venue-specific plans, and
Somebody go get the AED.
drills like this one in Rochester.
Every child should come home from school.
There's some places that we go play that don't have them, that aren't accessible.
Which is why Brantley's team takes their own AED to away games. One district offered up, it does the same. 5 others revealed they have portable or traveling AEDs.
If something happened and we didn't have our AED available and we didn't do everything that we could, I don't think I could live with myself for that one.
Because you know better.
I know better, yeah.
And while you may get multiple chances to make it home in a game, in life, sometimes you only get one.
Okay, so I'm sure some folks are wondering about cost. Are these expensive for schools?
It's about $2,000 a piece, give or take. There's some state funding. There's also a bill that could bring some more federal funding. And I mentioned that we surveyed more than 100 districts. Well, we took what we found and we put it online. So you can check your school to see how many AEDs they have, and you can even read their policies and plans. Just look for that story in the 13 Investigates section of our website.